Let's start there. What is a misconception that they have when you're working with these manufacturer rep agency owners? Like uh, their thoughts around sales as well as like leadership. What's
Hmm.
the like common mistakes or common errors that you get to see throughout as you're working with different partners and
Yeah. Yeah. There's two things that come to mind for me. The first one is that sales is 100% relationship building.
hmm,
So you've got these agencies where, they've been around for 40 years. Um, it's generational business. So the
hmm,
dad handed it down to the son,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
And dad in the 80s was relationships all the time,
right,
golfing, dinners,
mm,
lunches, association meetings. And that's how he drove sales.
mm,
Okay. And that's been cascaded and passed down to the new generation of ownership and leadership within these businesses.
yeah,
But what's happening is times have changed,
mm,
right? There is a lot of technology
yeah,
and data collection and ways to sell beyond relationship building. It's still an important part,
mm,
but it's not the only thing that you should be doing,
mm,
right? So that to me is a misconception that a
mm,
lot of these agencies need to navigate through.
mm,
And the second one is that as the owner of a sales agency, that you have to be selling.
mm,
So you've got these owners of these agencies that are, doing 15 to $50 million in top line revenue,
right.
and the owner is out doing sales calls,
Hmm,
meeting with
interesting.
meeting with,
The
with
owners
engineer.
are doing the sales calls.
Yeah, and
Yeah, yeah,
they've got like accounts, and
yeah.
it's like, okay, why?
Hmm,
Why are they doing that? Well, it's because I drive the most revenue in the business,
interesting.
right? Which the misconception is that their team members aren't equipped to do that,
Mm,
and that they're not equipping them or letting go and allowing others to take over those accounts so that they can scale in a different way
yeah.
by leading and coaching their team into high performance, right?
Hmm. That's a really interesting perspective because again, and my viewers are entrepreneurs that are just starting out. Like they
Mhm.
may have a 9 to 5, starting their side hustles, but I
Mhm.
think there's a lot of wisdom that I think I can draw from the principle that you're talking about here. Let's say you find an agency owner, rep agency owner contacts you,
Mhm.
says, "Chris, I need some help. Like
Yeah.
my business is a dumpster fire right now."
Yeah.
What are some of the first couple of things that you diagnose
Yeah.
when you meet with them?
So the first thing that I'll start diagnosing is their leadership style.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll be like, "Okay, so tell me about, you know, your day to day,
Mm,
and how is it you're approaching the challenges when the team member comes to you?"
yeah.
So what I diagnose is their behaviors and
Mm,
their leadership style. And then I'll often ask them, what's their vision for the business?
mm,
Right? Where are you today? Where are
right.
the bottlenecks? Perfect world. Where do you want to be a year from now?
Yeah.
And as they start sharing those ideas with me,
Hmm.
then I can start asking more pointed questions around where their behaviors come from and how, what their
Oh,
what their desire for change would be.
you're going right to the root.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then oftentimes, 9 times out of 10, the owner becomes my client rather than his sales team,
That is
right?
so interesting.
Yeah, because they realize I help them realize
Mm,
that it all starts with them.
mm,
They're running a business, they need to show up in a way that's going to empower their team so that their team are doing the things that they want. They need to uphold the standards, they need to work on themselves.
yeah. Many of the owners say to you at the initial, like, okay, coach my sales team. But then once you have this engagement, they're like, no, I need some help,
Yeah,
Chris.
yeah.
Well, what happens after then? Yeah.
Yeah, so generally, we sit down and we take a look at some really deep internal stuff.
Hmm.
That's where the mindset coaching piece comes in.
Okay. Yeah.
We look at the deep internal stuff that they haven't really reflected on, right?
Hmm.
So all these companies
Yeah.
and every company you've probably worked for or even schools, right?
Right.
They all have values, core values,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So one of the first exercises I do with each one of my clients is I help them uncover their personal core values,
Mm.
which nobody's ever really sat down and done. When's the last time
Yeah.
you looked at your
Yeah.
own personal core values, right?
Last time I've done it was at the summit. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, until you're in that space.
Yeah.
But you're right. Nobody asks like, so what's your core? I don't know.
Yeah. So what I've got is a series of questions that help draw them out, right?
Mm.
And those core values serve as, you use the term North Star, the lighthouse of their decision making.
Mm.
So, my core values are integrity, servant leadership, and discipline.
Mm.
Okay. So when I'm navigating through my day and making decisions, and I coach my clients on this, is look, does the decision align with your values?
Mm.
Are you being a servant leader? Are you making the decision in integrity? Are you disciplined in your approach?
Right.
Now, for me, that's how I navigate. So I help them wrap their head around how they can make better decisions in their day to day
Mm.
that align with that. Then we look at their own personal mission and vision, which everyone needs a mission and vision. You need one for your business, but you need one for yourself too as a business leader,
Mm.
right? What is your mission and where are you heading,
Yeah.
right? And then from there, we'll take a look at things like limiting beliefs exercises,
Mm-hmm.
what's holding you back. We'll look at what I call peak performance habits.
Yeah.
So what do your current routines look like, right?
Mm-hmm.
We dig into what do their morning routine look like? What is their
Mm.
evening routine? How much time are they spending on their phone?
Mm.
How do they eat, work out, sleep, all the things?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do they want it to look? And then what habits do they want to eliminate? I'm celebrating 2 years alcohol free now, right? And I leverage that because I feel amazing and clear, right?
Yeah. Mm.
I was a heavy drinker, and the people in this industry, in the manufacturer's rep agency business, they're constantly at events where alcohol is flowing.
Mm.
Okay. And more times than not, people wake up with headaches and
Yeah.
dry mouth
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
hungover.
Yeah.
So I'm encouraging people also to live healthier lifestyles, right?
Mm.
So by looking and evaluating their existing habits, they can write down what habits they want to create for themselves, and then I hold them accountable to it, right?
Mm.
And then that sets the stage
Yeah.
for the next part of our coaching journey, where then we really dig into their business.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that includes the sales component.
Yeah, of course, because what happens is
Yeah.
oftentimes they look at their sales processes,
Mm.
how effective they are,
Yeah.
and then I coach them through how to improve them,
Mm.
right? And I don't just come in and rewrite it for them. They rewrite it for themselves.
Right.
That's my approach.
I also want to lean into the other side now because there are some listeners that like they know it's like I have or I think I have a sense of leadership, but they need that encouragement.
Mm-hmm. I always refer people to one of my favorite books
Oh,
by John Maxwell called The 5 Levels of Leadership.
5 levels of leadership. Yeah.
Yeah. Because everyone at some point or another
Mm-hmm.
gets picked to champion something, to be a
Mm.
leader in something, right?
Say that again.
Yeah.
Say that.
Everyone in their life at some point or another gets picked to champion something, to be the leader for something, right?
Mm.
And maybe that's, what, you're gonna be the one who's organizing your buddy's bachelor party,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or you know what? The kitchen manager is sick at the restaurant, so this line cook has to be the one to act as
Yeah.
the kitchen
leader.
manager
Yeah.
today,
Yeah.
right? So it happens in every business. It happens in everyone's life, right?
Mm.
And what the 5 levels of leadership talks about is that there's a process that you go through in your leadership, and the first level is you are simply have
Mm.
the title.
Yeah.
You've
Just
been
the
given
title.
you've been given the title of manager,
Mm.
but nobody trusts you. They've never worked with you. Who is this guy? Right? So you don't have any clout. You don't have any
Yeah. That's a good word.
right?
Yeah.
But you are the manager.
Yeah.
Okay. So you need to work yourself up the levels.
Mm.
Level 2 is when you've done something for your team members and they recognize you as the manager now.
Hmm.
They acknowledge you as the
Yeah. Right.
okay.
Yeah.
So if you are thinking about, people think that I'm a potential manager, know that everyone was a level 1 at some point. All
Mm.
right. We can give you
Yeah. Yeah.
the title,
That's good
but it doesn't
encouragement.
mean that you're actually a leader yet.
That is so good. Cause
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Level 3 is when the company recognizes the impact of your leadership.
Mm.
Okay. So the team members now
Yeah.
acknowledge you as a leader.
Then
Level 3, the company's like, yeah, he's doing a good job.
right.
Level 4 is when you actually start to develop leaders.
Oh,
And that to
interesting.
me is one of
Yeah.
the most important aspects of leadership that so many people
Mm.
haven't wrapped their head around.
Yeah.
And it's that, look, if you're a leader in your business, one of the key things you should be doing is developing your people. And you should be looking for that future talent that you can feed up the pipeline to be future leaders of the business,
Mm.
right? So that you don't have to wear all the hats all the time,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But level 5, which is the pinnacle,
Mm.
is that you are now developing leaders who are developing leaders,
Mm.
right? So I went all the way up the
Yeah.
levels,
Yeah.
but that first level,
Mm.
know that if people are praising you and people are saying, "Hey, I see leadership potential in you," and you're doubting yourself, know that everyone was a level 1 at
Mm.
some point.
Yeah. That's
And
so good.
and even if you were the CEO of a business,
Mm.
okay, and you left and you started at a new company,
Mm-hmm.
you're back to level 1. You're just gonna move up the levels faster,
Right.
right? But
Yeah.
you're at level 1.
Yeah.
I remember I told you I was working for the last corporate company I was working for. We had 4 different leaders in 8 years, okay?
Mm.
Everyone that showed up on the doorstep,
Yeah.
we would have like a round table and we get to meet them.
Mm-hmm.
And every time it was like scrutiny, like, who is this guy? Is he really gonna make a difference? Right? He had to literally get past level 1 and get to
Mm.
level 2 so that we acknowledged them, him
Right.
or her,
Mm-hmm.
because we had a woman leader at one point. She was amazing, but recognize them as our leader, right?
Mm. In your experience and where you see the trend going, as a business owner who wants to hire top talent so that they can train leaders afterwards too, what do you think they should be looking toward, and if it's internal or even external? Yeah, if you can speak on that as we land here.
Yeah. You brought up a term earlier in the conversation that really, really resonates in this moment, and that's coachable.
Mm.
You can find people that have all the experience in the world, okay? On a resume, it's like, wow, this is exactly who I'm looking for. But then when they show up and they start doing the work,
Mm.
they want to do it their way or the highway, right? Not coachable. Every business is unique. Every business has different level of complexity, requirements, standards, culture, all these things. So finding people who are coachable
Mm.
is really important. Um, and you were asking me earlier today about my team in particular, how many team members I have. That is one of the most important traits
Mm.
for each one of the people on my team is that they're coachable. They're willing to learn. They're willing to demonstrate that they're learning,
Mm-hmm.
and they're willing to hold themselves accountable
Mm.
to a standard that I'm upholding. I mean, you and I were at the Social Selling Summit with Dan Martell, and Dan Martell is all about upholding standards, right?
Right.
And he does a community group call on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very clear of what the expectations are on these calls. And there was somebody recently,
Mm-hmm.
okay, who was not coachable
Okay.
and was breaching those expectations.
Right.
And what Dan did was crazy. Okay. I thought it was crazy, but amazing at the same time.
Yeah.
He said to his assistant, he said, this person here, refund him right away and take him off the program. And he said, so and so, you know what? You're not meeting the expectations. You're not coachable. If you don't want to be here, you can have your money back and take care. Kick rocks.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's what I'm talking about, right?
That's right. Upholding standards, right?
So
Yeah.
what happens with entrepreneurs is they hire people, they get frustrated because they're not coachable. But you also need to remember this.
Hmm.
If someone is coachable, that means they need a coach.
Hmm.
So you as the business owner need to be the coach.
Not just the owner.
Exactly. So look for someone who's coachable, but recognize that you have a responsibility and a role to play
Hmm.
of being that coach,
Hmm.
not just throwing people in the fire,
Yeah.
right? That's what leadership is about.
That's fantastic. We'll have to end on this question.
Mhm.
Why are some business owners reluctant to get coached?
I think it's ego, right? Your ego can sometimes be that's your identity, right? Your identity is that I'm a problem solver. I figure things out on my own.
Mm.
I got this.
Mm.
So quite simply, they might not be coachable or
Mm.
don't want to coach because they just truly believe that they can figure it out themselves.
Mm. And you'll have to let them be on their own, even though you see the good potentials.
Yeah.
Amazing. Chris, thank you so much. Where can people find you? Is there anything exciting that you're doing that you'd like to share so that they know where you're going?
Yeah. You can find me anywhere at the Chris Atwell. Okay. And what am I doing? Exciting. I'm developing a group coaching program soon that we'll be launching where it's going to be more community based rather than just one-on-one.
Hmm.
So if you're an entrepreneur, you can explore that. I'm also writing a book right now, which is a business book about my life and the frameworks that I teach,
Hmm.
which I'm really excited to launch in the new year.
In the new year.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll maybe bring you on for the new year to do a podcast for the book launch as well.
Right on.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, thank you for the conversation.
Thank you.